Hello everyone. In this video I'm playing $15 Hyper Turbo on PokerStars. King 3 is a weak hand, but it's strong enough to call a min raise versus unknown opponent. First hand we flop top pair. The plan is to check raise, but the opponent checks. This is a mistake unless he has some kind of weak value hand, like 7-4, that he wants to protect from my check raises. On the turn, most likely holdings for the opponent are flush draw, straight draw, ace high and 7. But we can't exclude other hands because we have no reads about his playing style. We bet to get value from draws and weaker value hands that he might have. 10-3 offsuit is a standard min raise from the bottom. Smaller continuation bet makes bluffing more profitable because we lose less chips when opponent check raises or calls and we decide to give up on turn. One negative aspect of betting small is that it gives opponent better odds to call with weak draws that have no showdown value. 9-7-7 flop is quite dry, so opponent has very few draws in his range. HUD appears and we can see that the opponent has folded to our c-bets 53% in previous games, meaning that his playing style is not overly aggressive. Opponent's range is quite wide on turn, containing some ace-high hands with low kicker, king-high hands, gut shots, 3 of a kind, and a few straight draws. Most opponents will check raise 9 on the flop, but it's still possible that he called our continuation bet with a hand like 9-6. Queen doesn't complete any straight draws and makes opponents' possible ace-high and king-high hands relatively weaker. This is a good spot to make another bluff bet to make opponent fold these hands. By making a half pot size bet, we need to win only one time in 3 to break even. Opponent calls again. I don't believe that he would call a second barrel with weak hands like king high. So now his range contains mostly strong value hands, making further bluffing unprofitable. Six-4 offsuit is too weak to call. Opponent calls our continuation bet and makes a small donk bet on the turn. 6 high is an easy fold. Flop is quite wet. Opponent has many weak drawing hands like gut shots and overcard hands in his range. I'm making slightly bigger continuation bet to give these hands worse odds to call. If opponent check shoves, then I'm going to fold, because second pair with gut shot does not have the 40% equity needed to call versus stronger draws and value hands. If opponent had more loose and aggressive playing style, then I would check in this spot. Opponent plays tight passively so far, so I'm going to min-raise 100% of hands, even with lower effective stack sizes. King 5 would be a good hand to check shove against most opponents, with 14 big blind effective stacks. Against this opponent we have 40 hand sample, and he has only raised 30% from the small blind so far. I decide to call instead of folding, only because he has been playing very passively post flop. On the flop I would fold if opponent makes a c-bet, because his range consists mostly of hands with ace and pocket pairs. No reason to bet turn or river, because there are very few better hands in opponent's range that he would fold. Flop is wet. Opponent has many straight draws and gut shots with overcards in his range. Against random opponent I would check on this flop. This opponent, however, has played so passively so far that I don't believe that he will check raise with draws. So I decide to bet flop with the intention of pushing all in on turn, unless the turn card completes draws for the opponent. The worst turn card for us is obviously the 7. Thank you for watching. I'm looking forward to reading your comments.